Oh my god! Wow!
Hey guys, I wanted to show you something I know you're gonna like. When you learn about how to use this, it will change your art forever. Yes, I mean forever. So when you finish an artwork, don't be a lazy ass. You're not done yet. Try this and you'll like the difference. So I'm using Clip Studio Paint, but other softwares have this exact same feature. It might be called something like layer modes. This is one of my older artworks here. I'm going to use it to demonstrate on. So as you can see, it's finished, but I feel like something's kind of missing. So when you think about painting, what you have to imagine is the light environment. So the light environment is the setting that your character is in. You can't just slap a bunch of colors and expect it to read. So when you paint, you have to think about the quality of the light and how it's going to affect the objects in the scene. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to do this. Select the character or whatever you made. You're going to create a new layer and select a color. So I usually like to select a kind of a really saturated brown color. Just do this. So this is the environment of our light that we're trying to achieve. These are the blending modes right here on this tab. So you can change it. So my favorite is hard light for sure. And then, so I change it to hard light, and then now you can lower the opacity a little bit. So if you go before and after, to see how it kind of just unifies all the colors, it just really ties everything under one light source. So you can use different, blending modes and like soft light. So I'll go over which each of them means in just a second, but here's just kind of the general idea. So you can select the mode and change the hue to have it be something more. So maybe I want it to be more of a cooler hue. So I want to mimic, like, maybe it's a nighttime scene or something. And then you can use, the different, blending modes to try to do that. But yeah, so just play around with like you can use different colors too, change around the opacity and how intense the colors are, or you can even like erase away parts if you like. So there's just a lot that you can do. I'll go over some more techniques, but I just want to go over the different blending modes first. For each of the blending modes, so normal is just what you expect. It's normal. There's darken. The darken mode compares the colors of the blending mode and the base layers and keeps the darker colors. The multiply, it multiplies the colors, of the blending layers and the base layer. And it makes the colors darker. The color burn tool, it mimics like the burning of effect of overexposing prints. It's a photography film technique. And so what it does is it darkens the colors, increases the contrast of the base colors, and then it blends the colors of the blending layer. Linear burn blends the colors of the blending layer by darkening the colors of the base layers. When the layer mode is on, it affects all the layers that are beneath it. If I turn like this contrast layer on and off, it's always going to affect the layers that are beneath it. Subtract subtracts the colors of the layer. So it's subtracting all of like the orangish brown and leaving only the blue left. The lighten mode, it compares the base colors and the colors of the blending layer. And so it keeps the lighter color. So it's the opposite of darken. The screen mode, so it inverts the base colors and multiplies with the colors of the blending layer. It's the opposite of multiply. The color dodge mode lightens the colors of the base layers and reduces the contrast. So it results in more saturated midtones. And then there's the glow dodge. The glow dodge mode creates and reduces the contrast. Creates a stronger effect than the color dodge mode. So they're kind of similar. So as you see, they're pretty similar. The add mode adds the color information of the base layers and the blending layer. So it's adding color to increase the brightness. The add glow is also pretty similar, so it's just a stronger effect. Overlay, it behaves kind of like screen to brighten the areas, and like multiply to darken areas as well. So it's basically a combination of both. The soft light mode uses bright colors on the blending layer to create a brighter effect, kind of like the dodge modes. So the hard light mode is my favorite. So what it does is it uses bright colors on the blending layer to create a brighter effect, kind of like the screen modes, but also, you know, it keeps the dark colors the same, like in multiply. Difference subtracts the colors of the blending layer from the base colors. And then there's also other ones, kind of like vivid light, so it increases how bright and saturated the colors are. There's linear light. So the rest of these are just different. There's like an algorithm, like a computer that's, you know, just fancy technobabble that I don't know about, but you know, you don't have to know everything about every single blending mode. So there's a few weird things about blending modes that you have to be aware of when you're using them. They're not just like normal layers. So let's say if you want to combine the layers, so you want to merge the layers down, what will happen is this. So what's happening is it's getting rid of the information. Since it's only affecting the layers below it, the layer below it will still have an effect on it. So it's kind of weird. It doesn't make sense. You would think it would just combine and be exactly what you see, but you know, it's not. Nothing in life is that simple, you know what I mean? So what you have to do is turn off all of the layers. So yeah, turn off all the layers except for the layers you want to combine, including make sure you turn off the background paper layer if you have that on too. So you just combine those, and then there we go. So it's just the same thing as before, and nothing changed. So yeah, it took me like forever to figure that out. Do you know how... Oh, you know, someone mentioned it to me and I just never really put two and two together, but yeah, it took me, you know, some people could just figure this stuff out like instantly, but for me, it took me a little bit longer, but I was so stoked when I figured that out. So before, I would just have to leave all these layers, you know, all alone, and you know, that's no fun. You want to combine layers, otherwise you'll have too many. Also, what you want to be aware of is if you want to keep painting on top of this layer that you've created with the blending mode, when you select colors with the eyedropper tool, so as you notice, I'm selecting this exact color here, but when you use the brush, it picks a different color. So what's happening is you're using it, even though you selected that same color, when you apply the color, the blending mode is applied again on top of it. So in order for that to stop happening, what you have to do is go to the eyedropper tool and pick up color from layer. So then when you go to paint, it is the exact color that you are using. Also keep in mind that for brushes in Clip Studio Paint, you can change the blending mode for each of them. So rather than changing the blending mode for the layer, you can go and pick, you know, something like darken. So I like to use darken for my brushes sometimes. So it will like only make the color darker, but never lighter. So it's kind of useful. So let me show you some more stuff that blending modes can do. You know, yes, because they could do a lot of stuff, unlike me. So you can create a layer mask. So we can make this into a mask and then erase away parts of the layer that we do not want. So maybe you have like light coming in from a direction. You can also combine it. So like, let's say if this is our, you know, ambient light layer, you can also add it like on top. So you can use different blending modes together to kind of create an effect. I'm just doing this quickly just to show you how it works. You see what I did here? So, I mean, you could do better than this, but this is just to kind of show you how, like, now it kind of feels like he's glowing from the back, and then the rest is kind of covered in shadow. And it's just so much more vibrant than just having no blending modes at all. You know, it's just before, it just looks so dull and empty. But when I discovered blending modes, it just really changes the way you make your art. So it's really great. It's a huge game changer. So you can also use it for cell shading. What you can do is use a multiply layer. So when you turn that on, it's at 30% opacity. You can change it depending on what you want. Because normally what people do when they, so let's say if you create a layer, you know, you create a mask. What normally people do is they just select black and they start shading like this. You'll lower the opacity. So yeah, they just start shading on top with black, and it just kind of looks like kind of just, you know, very blotchy, and it doesn't make any sense, and the colors look all muddy. What you can do is fill the entire screen with a color. So I choose this kind of purplish brown color, and then you can change it to multiply and then reduce it to like 30% or whatever. And so rather than painting on the shadows, what I want you to try is erasing away using the mask to kind of reveal the light. So it's really fun to play with. So like maybe the light's kind of coming from here. So anywhere. So now it's like you're painting with a light. It's not just, you know, you're adding on shadow. And so it's such a much better process of painting. And if you want to add it back, you just, you draw on the mask on top. And I can do a tutorial on masks too, but there's plenty of info how to use them. So here is like a more realistic version. So what you can do is you have your base layer. You can add, so here is just some shadows, some shading, and then here's like the light source that's coming from above. So I could do more in-depth tutorials about these. This is just to kind of get you started. I'm planning to do more tutorials, so please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope this video really helped you out, and good luck on your artistic journey. Bye!